What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Twisted Bard E3 prediction show. We are coming at you now with the third-party and Nintendo predictions. We have a mix of both. We're kind of mixing all these together. We're each going to have 3 predictions rather than go through all the different conferences. We're just going to mix them all together because who's got time for that?
Can we also just be clear as well when we say third party?
Yeah.
We also include a Nintendo, which we completely realise is actually a first party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are aware. And the one person who may comment on this video, we're sorry.
I'll make sure my comment is very angry.
Exactly. So I'm Paddy, and I am joined today with Alistair.
Hello again.
With Rob S.
Hello.
Sam.
Hello.
Rob B.
Hello.
And yeah, we're going to run through our predictions. Alistair, lead us in. What is your first third-party prediction?
Well, I love starting these things off, and so I'm going to kick us off with a big one. I'm going to say Ubisoft revives the Splinter Cell IP. So I think, because isn't there a movie coming up of Splinter Cell or something crap like that?
Probably.
Yeah, Tom Hardy is going to be Sam Fisher.
So I think,
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
the man
Yeah.
can do
Did not know
everything.
that.
So I believe that running along that line with the hype from the movie, they're gonna maybe bring up a new Splinter Cell IP.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, I'd be all over that. I love Splinter Cell. The old ones were awesome. Even the one that was like the most recent one was really good as well.
The only one that I truly remember is I remember playing Chaos Theory
Yeah, that
on
was awesome.
PS2, and that had a really good co-op mode on it.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, that was a good
That was
one.
awesome.
Yeah, I'd be all over that if that came back.
Yeah. I think whether or not they'll do it, I don't know. I mean, not like obviously, like you say, like if they picked up the film rights and they're going to go forward with it, then brill. But I mean, I don't think like Assassin's Creed got the reception that I hoped. I'm not sure you got how you guys felt about the film and stuff, but it doesn't make me hold out hope, even though it's got a Tom Hardy in it, because obviously the other one had a Fassbender in it, and
Yeah, it didn't exactly. I mean, I liked it, bits of it.
Yeah.
I didn't. Overall, it wasn't great, but like bits of it was really, really solid. But it would make sense to kind of trying to link, new film, new game, all that kind of thing. So, I mean, I'd be all over that if that were the case. Rob S., do you want to give us your first prediction?
Okay, well, along the lines of the new Assassin's Creed game, I'm going to go out and say that I think that the protagonist in this game is going to be female. That they're just going to go with a female character and possibly a side character that would be female as well, kind of like they did with Desmond in the first 3 games.
Okay, so you're saying like a playable female character.
Yes.
When you say the protagonist, are you saying that like both the ancestor sort of and the modern day would be a female, or is it just one or the other?
It would be like the character that goes into the Animus and then the character that you play that's actually in the Animus. So it would be like the person in today's time versus the person in the past.
Okay, so that person's female, because I think Syndicate had
one, yeah.
Had a female character, but that wasn't linked to. I can't actually remember what.
They were
twins. Linked to the Animus, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, and Evie was very popular, I think. So
yeah, that's why I think they're going to go
I can see
for
that
it.
happening.
She was awesome. And I enjoyed that they kind of mixed up the playstyles. So she was more kind of stealth, whereas the brother was a bit more like kind of combat. And I thought that was a really nice way to mix it up. Cool. All right, Sam, do you want to give us your first prediction?
In case we haven't already had enough of Assassin's Creed, I actually predict Assassin's Creed will have the most minutes of exposure at the university conference, the Ubisoft conference.
The university conference.
Bit
Held in
distracted
Oxford,
right
I
now. No, at the Ubisoft conference. And I think this basically because, although obviously Far Cry 5 coming out and that's huge, that they make this whole big deal of giving Assassin's Creed a year's break when it's normally been a yearly release, and they're making that a big deal. And I'm not too sure how much of the game we should know at the moment, but obviously it's leaking a lot. So I think they're just going to want to expose it at their conference, just get it all out in the open. It's exciting. new and fresh because, you know, we didn't have one last year. So yeah, I think it's going to be sort of the main feature of their conference.
Yeah, and the rumors of this one are pretty exciting. Like at least for me,
Oh man,
like
I haven't.
open world Skyrim, like kind of a bit non-linear. I mean that
Out of everything we've talked about so far, like new Assassin's Creed game really excites me. I loved Brotherhood and Revelations, which was like the main two I played. And then I got 3, which was a big letdown. And
Yes.
4 was like, I was so hyped for 3, pre-ordered it and all. And Black Flag was good, but it didn't like quite have the same magic as the Renaissance settings with Ezio did. So I'm excited to see where they go now.
Yeah, I mean it'd be really cool to see a completely new time frame. I think the break I think was definitely a smart idea on their part, like because actually Syndicate was actually really good, but I think there was so much negativity around the series that just giving it a year off and maybe creating something a bit different. I think there's going to be like more naval combat back in this, and you know Black Flag was great. So
yeah,
this is super exciting.
Yeah. If I like what I see, I probably will actually end up pre-ordering it and just hope it's not a repeat of number 3 again.
Okay, Rob, so do you want to give us your first prediction?
My first prediction is that just like the times they showed the Division, when they first showed the Division off, and also when they first showed Rainbow Six Siege, I'm going to predict that Ubisoft are going to have some awful segment with horrible scripted online dialogue like that party chat they do that no one seems to ever do in real games. That I can't even do it one myself, but you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah,
cover me, I'm going forward.
Yeah, like contact Northwest and all that kind of stuff. It's just like no one ever says that. Normally they're just saying things like about your mum and
you don't scream the cardinal directions whilst playing games, saying cover me from the northwest whilst playing Super Smash Bros.
I mean
what I love about it is that
am I the weirdo here?
what I love about it is the way they like just the whole way it's pitched. So it's like, hey, we're just 4 young cool people, but we also happen to be really good at video games, and it's like everybody can get involved.
I don't know. Each time I see it, it like it makes me cringe like hell. And I remember when Sea of Thieves did theirs. I think it was on the Xbox show, and and they did like a really cool one, which I don't know whether it was how much it was pre-planned, but they framed it very much as here's 4 streamers, and we just pass the game to them, and here it is there, and this is them for like 2 minutes, you know, trying to work out how to play it, and that made the game look like a really good time and really good fun. Whereas when I watched the Division
game and then like doing VO over it or something,
and then when it just come to those first gameplay sort of trailers of the Division and a Siege, it's just talking away. It's just cringeworthy, and you sit there and go, "Oh, that's not how people do games," and it's just out of touch, and it just feels so false that you just Yeah,
I mean it's a very good prediction, seeing as it is Ubisoft, so you're probably onto something there. So I think a lot of my third party predictions are basically, we did them separately, but just to counter whatever Alistair says. So my first one is that Ubisoft will have a new IP, but it has nothing to do with Tom Clancy. So we've had
I think
Division,
that's possible.
and then Wildlands, the Ghost Recon. So everything is Tom Clancy. So I think they're going to do something completely different.
You can't move away from Tom Clancy. He's everywhere. It's impossible.
He does seem to be their one thing. But I think they can try and do something different. We'll see.
Try,
Alistair?
but they'll fail. Well, moving away from the university conference, what a callback! I'm
to that bit of recording that we saved.
I'm gonna jump into
trade secrets.
The Bethesda conference, and I'm gonna say they hint at a new Elder Scrolls. Not gonna show it. Not gonna announce it.
What is a hint? What is a hint? What counts as a hint?
I think they're gonna little tease, little verbal tease, maybe suggesting that a new Elder Scrolls is in the works. Because I mean, Skyrim came out a while ago, and the remastered came out a couple of years ago, so they just want more money. So they're probably gonna say, you know what, gear up, get your thumbs loose. This is coming at you.
I guess they could remaster Skyrim
How can you remaster something?
for the Scorpio and the PS4 Pro.
I mean, they could bring it
Basically,
out
just
in VR.
keep doing remasters of Skyrim.
Skyrim
And then they'll
VR
bother
for
with
the
the next Elder
Scorpio.
Scrolls.
See, I wonder if like maybe Bethesda would focus more on Elder Scrolls Legends and ESO Morrowind, because they're like both very recent as well. So maybe they'll just try and do something to push that. I don't know like how concerned they'd be with Elder Scrolls 6 at the moment.
That's why I'm gonna go. That's why I'm saying a hint, because they're
Just
gonna
a
be
hint.
nowhere near like making it, but
So
they'll,
you're
they'll
really
probably
hedging your bets.
like really just like little bit of the toe dipping into the water, just gonna go there it is, and it's gone.
Well, from what I remember of the previous year, Bethesda usually don't do a lot of games, but they do a few games in real big detail.
Yeah.
So they'll either do like if it will be there, it will be like how Fallout 4 was, where no one saw it kind of coming, and no one saw that it would come out like as soon as it did, and stuff. It was a very
it's
short time.
such a small gap between announcement and release.
Yeah, and you think like last year, what was it? Doom, Fallout 4, and I think they did 2 other games, so it was about 4
Yeah.
that they covered all
Well,
together.
they were what, Dishonored 2 and
That was it.
Prey maybe.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but like I do remember that they've always done like their games in quite a lot of detail, as opposed to drawn out small teaser trailers. So
I mean, I think
Yeah.
they're going in
I
a
think-
different
yeah.
direction with this.
You
Well,
just
you're
think,
wrong.
you just
Well-
think the whole conference is going to be a collection of little hints about things that are coming
Yeah, you
in
know,
kind of
with
5 years' time.
all of my years of experience.
years of doing EP predictions.
Yeah, and my in-depth knowledge of Bethesda and all its franchises, I think I got my ear to the ground for this one.
Nice one. Cool. All right, Sam, do you want to give us your second prediction?
Yeah. My second prediction is that EA will announce a new Dragon Age game. So this is because we know that there's a Dragon Age in the works, and I think after sort of Mass Effect, they might, and the sort of polarizing effect of ME Andromeda, they might be trying to push forwards, one of the other big BioWare franchises. Although I don't know like how long, like what release date that would have, and like how long between announcement and release it would be. But I think that if they wanted to, they could certainly get a lot of people excited by announcing a new Dragon Age game.
Do you think people would be there, or do you think they'll be apprehensive after sort of how they handled Mass Effect?
I think... So here's the thing. A lot of people are starting to warm up now towards Mass Effect Andromeda. Like, it was a disappointment for sure when it came out. But people are starting to warm up to it, and they're realizing it's not such a bad game.
I don't know. I honestly gave it like a real proper chance, and I put a lot of hours into it. And I don't know. It's just one of those things where I just found myself playing it just because like I wanted to see it through, not because like I was enjoying it. And that's what I found my experience was from it. And it's really weird for me because I basically was really sort of interested when I saw the game in the marketing stuff. I hadn't played on the first 3, so like I went through and played through the first 3 just before like it kind of came out. So I went straight from the third one like into that one. And yeah, I just got so. I don't know whether or not I was just burnt out sort of on the franchise or not, or whether or not it was just the fact that I just didn't enjoy it as much. But yeah, it
possibly might be burnout, and I wouldn't blame people for being apprehensive after Mass Effect Andromeda. But now certainly like recent articles I've seen talking about it, and through browsing Reddit, people like not loving it as much as say Mass Effect 2 or the original trilogy. But people are warming up to it now, so maybe they'll want to leave it until next year, or maybe they'll do it this year. But I think they could get people excited with a new Dragon Age game. But they have to make sure the graphics look decent in the trailer.
Yeah.
That's basically what they have to do to make people trust them a bit more at this moment in time. Would be to have a beautiful looking game in the trailer.
Yeah, I don't know what teams are working on things over at BioWare, because basically Mass Effect has kind of been shelved now, hasn't it, for a while?
Yeah,
Like
they said there's going to be
did.
another one, but like the team's doing I think it's support work. But it's on rest at the moment.
I think that team was really badly managed. There's definitely something going wrong.
There was something about
internally there.
Yeah, there was this huge, supposedly one of the people in charge was like a big SJW or something, and had something to do with the management of the team. So I think there's been backlash from that, but that can't be the only reason why the game ended up like it did.
Yeah, they dropped the ball.
So yeah, it's coming back eventually. It's just on rest for now. But new Dragon Age game. I think that's going to be announced.
All right, Rob, number 2.
So my next prediction will be that Nintendo will announce via their Nintendo Direct a new Metroid game, which has been quite a long time since the last one. I know a Metroid Prime sort of people were a bit mixed on that. Like, it was a really good first-person sort of game, but obviously, like the pure diehard Metroid fans didn't want a first-person game. They wanted a proper Metroid platformer.
Mm-hmm.
I think a Nintendo have, on the whole, handled most of their IPs pretty well, but these sort of, I suppose they're a secondary sort of IPs, and what I mean by that is obviously their primary ones being a Zelda, a Smash Brothers, a Mario, the ones that they know always sell, and these other ones that are kind of like they're secondary ones that they call upon every now and again. I'm referring sort of Star Fox, those sort of games where they don't seem to handle them as well, and they don't really know what they're doing with them, and they try and sort of I really appreciate that they try innovate with what they're trying to do with each of the IPs, but I would like them to see them have another go at a Metroid game, because it has been quite a long time since the last one.
What style do you reckon they'll? Do you reckon they'll try and stick with as the original, kind of as a side-scrolling thing, or do you reckon they'll have another crack at the first-person aspect?
I mean, I think it could work as a 3D action, a third-person game. Whether or not that would be like an open world or like a sandbox area, or because obviously quite a prominent thing from the earlier games that they're quite non-linear, and the fact is you explored like an area like in a 2D plane. There's no problem with a transition that into 3D and making like a solid 3D either open world or even just a sort of a linear story-driven game with it built in a similar way to ones like a Super Metroid and stuff. So I think it's got room to work, and Samus is a cool character, so why the hell not?
Yeah, it'd be quite good to see that revived and brought back into, see if they can bring it up into like I say modern time, but like bring it up to speed with the rest of the world.
So my second prediction is, again, to counter Alistair, because I don't trust him in any way, shape or form. There's going to be absolutely no hint of Elder Scrolls 6 in any way, shape or form on the Bethesda stage.
I mean,
because
right,
Todd Howard doesn't have time for your bullshit. He just doesn't have time. He's busy. He's busy making more Fallout mobile games.
Do you have any sort of... Obviously, this isn't one of your proper predictions. Your actual prediction is that they will not talk about like Elder Scrolls 6, but anything that you think they will do? Because they've got some gaps there.
Yeah,
obviously working on things.
Basically, they released this image like before E3, which had like 6 little stops, I think. And then 4 of them, I think, were games that we already know about that are coming, and then 2 of them were like under construction. So there's going to be, I think they'll have a couple of new IP. Well, maybe one new IP. I don't know if they've officially announced the new Wolfenstein, which we know it's coming, like it's absolutely happening. But I don't know if they've given it a name or a trailer or anything like So that will be there. Maybe some kind of Doom follow up. I mean, like, maybe even if it's just DLC or something to add to that. Otherwise, I don't really know what they're doing. Maybe something new. But I don't know. Like, I don't know what the core that core team is doing. Like the Fallout team. I'm pretty sure Todd Howard said that they had something new they wanted to do before the next Elder Scrolls, and that's what they were working on. All right, Alistair, your third and final prediction for third party. Lay it on us.
I've gone for Hazelight Studios, the makers of Brothers: Tales of Two Sons. A nice little game. And I hear rumours that there's something in the works, and I think that in the EA conference they will sort of release and give a bit more of a tease, maybe even name their currently untitled IP. They did release a little bit of like the smallest of snippets in 2014, I think, like just to say we've got something coming, but we literally have nothing else on it. So here's just like a nice little pretty background and a pretty little video. And from what I've seen of it, it looks like there were two people in a train carriage, and so I'm just going to assume it's going to be very sort of similar to that kind of co-op-y feel that Tale of Two Sons have. So I'm going to say they're going to name their release, give it a title, something very artsy, and it's going to be this year's Unraveled.
Final prediction, Sims 5, or just any sort of Sim-style game coming out of EA. Because I don't think, have we had one in a while? I don't think we have. Sims 4 was like only 3 years ago or something. But I'm not too sure, that model of keeping a game alive for 5 years just with DLC. I'm not too sure how long that will survive. So maybe they'll want to do Sims 5. The other thing I'd be excited is maybe Spore 2. One that's not disappointing. But I doubt that would ever happen. So just something Sims coming from EA. I'd appreciate that. That's what really got me into gaming, so it'd be nice to
return.
Yeah,
it feels like it's been a while.
Return to my roots.
A voyeur, that's what it is. A voyeuristic and wrong. That's what I think.
But the power, Rob.
I know.
The power. All right, Rob, do you want to give us your third and final prediction?
Well, my third and final one, and again, I'm not sure what show it would fall into. This is why I chucked it into the third party. So it very well might happen during Sony or Microsoft. So I'm if it did, I'm not sure if you'd give me the point. But I think Shenmue, a Shenmue or a Shenmue, depending on how you say it, a 1 and 2. I don't know. There's so many different ways that people say it should be said. I have no idea. Shine Mew, 1 and 2, HD, to be well announced on some form of platform somewhere.
Is that
I know
is there a 3 coming? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, the third. I mean, if you're not aware of the story, obviously the first 2 come out on the Dreamcast in around, I think it was the year 2000 and 2001.
Okay.
And it was sort of one of those very sort of a lot of people saw it as a very groundbreaking game at the time. The issue was was that they spent a lot of money developing it, and it turned out something stupid like each person who owned a Dreamcast would have had to have bought 2 copies of it for it to break even, sort of thing. So it was very ahead of its time.
So they made a mistake.
Yeah, they they didn't work it out right. Someone didn't do the maths on that one, but yeah. So basically, the second one, it was quite a story-driven game with sort of full 3D cinematics. Like everything was voice acted. It was all kind of quite new for the time, and it was very cinematic. Had very sort of like an orchestral soundtrack. It was sort of a cliche a revenge story, but it was very endearing and very sort of ahead of its time. And they did do, I think it was E3 2015. that they will announce the Kickstarter for like the third game, which obviously there's been people campaigning for it for past 16 years or so. So like there's this very small corner, a lot of the internet that went bloody mad for it, and then all the people who were then campaigning for the third one switched straight away and started campaigning for the first two to be bought out on HD. So obviously from their point of view, they wanted to get a new fans like into the series, and then from there build up some sort of excitement for like a third entry. So I mean, I would play the hell out of 1 and 2 HD remasters, because they're really hard to get hold of the first game, and like unless you're prepared to pay AAA prices.
Okay, nice one. Okay, and my third and final prediction is that EA will officially announce a new Star Wars IP that's not Battlefront. I know we've seen a few little videos and snippets of something, but nothing's actually been given an official name or date or anything like that. So I think we will.
Yeah, I remember they did like
an official announcement of Star Wars.
They did like a video last year.
It's not going to be like, here's what our studios are working on. It's going to be, here's a trailer, maybe some gameplay. This is what it's called. So we actually know what. Maybe, I mean, ideally the one that Amy Hennig and formerly from Naughty Dog and what's her name? The one from Ubisoft. She was Jade Raymond, who was behind like Assassin's Creed in the early days. They're working together on one. So,
but I assume with a new Star Wars,
would be amazing.
A new Star Wars game, they would probably look to release that sort of, if it was coming in this E3, they would announce that for like either a 2018 sort of a late 2018 release.
That's going to be a long way away, but
yeah,
just
they wouldn't
something
want it
new,
to.
Something Star Wars, something awesome.
That makes sense, and probably one of the most sensible ones that we've had throughout all these shows. So
I think I've dropped some really sensible ones, and Paddy's just been very petty about it until now.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody. This was our third-party E3 prediction show. You can check back after E3, and we're going to do a whole thing to see who got what right and who got what wrong, and don't even know how we're going to do that yet, but should be interesting. We're twistedbard.com for anything, all things gaming and E3. Go to twistedbard.com or youtube.com/twistedbard, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.